All right, here we go from Mystics Media Day. First interview. It's Carly Samuelson. Carly, welcome. Welcome to DC. How long have you actually been in town?
A couple days.
A couple days.
3-4 days, yeah.
Nice. So I'm actually very much looking forward to talking to you because just your background is fascinating with, like your major in college and things you minored in, the performance stuff that I live in that world as well. Oh. You also spent a lot of time in London, which is like one of my absolute favorite places on the planet. But this kind of the here and now for you, you've signed 18 WNBA contracts. That is the number that allegedly you have signed. You're like, I don't know. I stopped counting at some point.
It's definitely up there.
Definitely a lot. But this is the full one that's fully guaranteed, full season, whole deal. What's the moment like when you get that call that like, hey, you have a home for this season?
Man, it was surreal for sure. It kind of wasn't a call. Mike, Eric, and Maria came to London to take me to dinner.
Oh, wow.
So honestly, when I heard they were coming, I was kind of taken aback because, like you said, I haven't experienced this before. Almost didn't believe it till I saw him in person.
Getting punked?
Yeah, really, because I've never experienced this before. For them to come out to London and see me, I just felt extremely blessed, but grateful and honored that and valued that they wanted me on the team. So yeah.
That's really incredible. So you like, was your agent like, hey, they're coming? Like, what's like, what happened?
Yeah, it was the first day of free agency, and he told me they were coming. I was like, are you sure? Are you sure? But I know London's a fun place to go, so I would come too.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of, let's just get into it. Your favorite spots in London for breakfast?
For breakfast, man, I'm not good at restaurant recommendations.
Oh, really?
It's
such an amazing food city.
Oh, no, amazing food.
Yeah.
I had incredible Indian food when I was there. Honestly, you can get any type of food, as you know. No, we stayed in Stratford, so there was a place called Suela that I'd like to go.
Okay. Here's really what I'm getting at. Did you ever get to Dishoom?
To Dishoom? No, but
Carly.
I know. This is a great Indian place, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I didn't, but I've read great reviews on it. I know I missed out.
You got to go back. You got to go to Dishoom. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Frankly.
I'll be back. Oh, is it all three?
Yeah. We went for breakfast when we were there, and we legitimately thought about just like walking around long enough to walk off breakfast and then walking right back in for lunch.
Yeah. I got to go back.
Did you have a favorite place for tea? Did you partake in like
tea? I'm not a tea drinker. Okay. One day it was like a Sunday, but it accidentally was New Year's Day, so things were booked out. I tried to go to afternoon tea and it was all booked out. But, my off days sometimes accidentally coincide with holidays. And so everything was booked out. I didn't plan well for that one.
No, yeah, it's kind of busy, the whole professional athlete life. Okay, did you have like a favorite hangout spot over there? Like, a favorite park? Like, there's just so many great places around the city. So like outdoor, park, whatever, anything like that?
For sure. We went to, the Kensington Gardens were amazing. Yeah. And I went in I almost said castle, like palace. That was fun.
Yeah.
See where the queen lived. No, there's so many. It's almost overwhelming how much you can do in London. So, no, I had a few good spots. I had a lovely coffee shop in Stratford called Signorelli that I would go to almost every day and just chat with my teammates.
We'll get back to coffee a little bit later. We have like
one
a quiz.
One of my favorite topics.
We have a quiz at the end, and what is your coffee order is in the quiz. So we will.
Fantastic.
We'll get there eventually. England, not the only place that you played. What was your favorite country that you played in as you've had your world travels?
For sure. I've played overseas 7 seasons now, and it's funny. Every year somehow tops the previous, which I think it can't. London was lovely. Australia was lovely the year before, but I'd have to say Spain. I was there for 3 years in Salamanca, and Spain is just a lovely country. The people, the food, the culture, I love it.
Are you like multilingual at this point?
I'm embarrassed to say I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not fluent in Spanish, and I will not speak Spanish here. Very broken.
Enough to at least tell people that you speak English and ask if they do.
A little more than that. A little more than that, but not enough to be proud that I lived there 3 years.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I'm trying to learn French because we're going to the Olympics this summer, and French and I don't get along. So I totally...
I know not a lick of French.
Yeah, no, it's Spanish, way better. So you... Obviously, you said you played Spain, Belgium, Australia, England. How is your approach to the actual game? I would say evolved, maybe is the right word. Or maybe you have a better word for it. It changed throughout your career.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like every year I've improved on the court, but like you said, it might be because, one, you get better at doing things the longer you do it. But I go into seasons now, and I really pride myself in totally immersing myself in that season. Yeah, and the culture. And this year at London, it was obviously not a culture shock. It was same speaking, but I've created, like, I now have families in different countries because I think that I really, like I said, immerse myself in the day-to-day and enjoy it. I mean, I love basketball, and I've been really lucky with the teammates and coaches I've had overseas, that it's just a perfect balance of fun and work. Like, and that's why I think my seasons have been successful, but also, like, really meaningful to me.
We talk about, like, music is the universal language. I feel like within basketball, like, shooting is the universal language. Is that, you think, helped you as well, considering, like, who you are as a player?
I think so. I think I've ended up on teams with teammates that love basketball as well, and like to find joy in the little things, like whether it's literally just shooting drills. We have just, like, routines and funny things, and like different languages. It doesn't matter. It's shooting. We all play the same sport.
Yeah. You majored in biology and then added, like, an exercise science and human performance master's at Stanford, as one does.
I got a master's after Stanford. It wasn't at Stanford, so it was at Concordia University in Irvine, in coaching, actually. But yeah, I studied human performance at Stanford. It was kind of their version of kinesiology. They didn't have it there. My plan was to go to physical therapy school after college.
I was going to ask what you were going to do with that. I mean, and also was going to, like, does that make your conversations with strength coaches and performance coaches maybe a little bit different?
Not different. I appreciate it a lot. Like, I love to see how people create their weight programs and their science behind it. And here it's been awesome. Like, Brett is I don't know his exact title, but it's some kind of data scientist in it. Yeah. And we've been doing our tests, and he's just, I mean, his mind's amazing. But yeah, I've been out of that for a long time now.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think that informs your approach, like how you train though, like how you approach the on-court basketball portion, knowing, like, the science behind performance, even if it's not the same as, the weight room, like a lot of those principles can apply?
I think I'm a very analytical person. So yeah, I think that helps me in a way. I've always been someone that likes to learn and likes school, so I really do like to study the game. I literally can't go to sleep until I watch my game that I just played. So maybe I would say that helps me a bit.
What are your first impressions of the Mystics so far?
It's great. I mean, the facility is incredible. I haven't had a facility of our own in the league yet in the years that I've played, and so just being able to come in, eat breakfast, have food, it's amazing. Everything's in one spot: weight room, film room, and then obviously the people, the coaching staff's amazing, the whole staff's amazing. I've played with Slim before, and I know a couple of the girls, but just getting a feel, I think we're going to get better every day, but it's really good vibes.
And what do you think your role will be on this team as you guys kind of come together? I know there hasn't been a lot of time so far, but
yeah, what I appreciated about my meeting with them in free agency was they want me for me and the kind of player that I am. So I think just doing what I do, which is like spacing, shooting, trying to be a leader, just great energy on the day-to-day, and honestly doing whatever is needed to win the games. I don't know exactly like what that means yet, but I'm just going to keep doing what I do, basically.
Yeah. So the place I found out about your degrees was your LinkedIn page, which is so hilarious that as I Google, it's like the fourth time in the last month that I've Googled an athlete and been like, oh, they have a LinkedIn page. This is cool. Also on there, though, you work with an organization called Parity.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that a little bit?
Yeah. So we're coming up on 4 years old now. I was lucky enough to meet the founders when they were creating it, but it's basically a community of athletes, elite athletes, strictly women, and we create different resources and opportunities for them. A lot of that comes in brand partnerships and posts on social media, but also just speaking opportunities, education, basically just trying to give as many resources to the professional women athletes who have signed up with us as we can, and that's been really, really cool. I've learned a lot about other sports because I'm so in the basketball world.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting to hear.
So it's a collection of your colleagues and then female athletes from other sports, and then it's trying to make sure that they have kind of more public-facing opportunities that we're typically seeing with athletes?
For sure. We're not an agency, but we're similar in that fact. And we have over 1,000 athletes, so it's been really cool.
That's amazing. And then last but not least, we're asking one kind of hot button topic, if you will.
Okay.
And then we have our quick hitter quiz here at the end. And I think you're actually the person that I thought of this question about because I think your perspective is so fascinating. Expansion is such a huge topic right now in the league. And I think of someone like you where if there were more roster spots around the league. You probably don't have to bounce the way you probably wouldn't have signed 18 different contracts, right? You were always maybe like that 11th player on a 10-team league. So when you hear about expansion for new teams versus the idea of expanding rosters, like, do you have thoughts on which, either if it's an either or like a both, and what that could mean for the league?
Yeah, I think the obvious answer is both. Like, the more job opportunities, the
real
better.
Leading question. Maybe you're my first interview of the day. Maybe I'll tighten that one up by the time we get to the end.
But I will say this, like, as you said, I have been that last cut, to be honest, almost every time. And I just think that, I don't know logistics, but I feel like adding one roster spot per team, or somehow requiring you to hold 12, because some teams are holding 11. I don't know if that would be easier to implement quicker, to just literally add 12 more jobs. So that's my take on it. Obviously, like, more teams also equals job opportunities. So it's really cool. And it's cool to be in the league right now. Like, obviously, the growth is crazy.
Yeah. Because the other thing I was thinking about, and I've had some friends in the league and everything over the years, covered it obviously as well, is the development. And, like, it's one thing to go play overseas, but, like, to be able to take the time and know, like, you have a spot. Also, the development that happens in, for instance, the NBA at the bottom of a roster, and the time with professional coaches. Like, how do you think that would have changed your career had those opportunities existed? And hopefully they will in the next, the back half of your career.
Yeah, I think it's hard, like you said, because let's say you get waived, you get cut, and you got to go pay for training. You have to go prepare for your overseas season. That costs money. Maybe you got to go back and live with your parents. I turned 26, and then I wasn't on a team at the time. I was off my dad's health insurance. So there's a lot of outside factors that you really don't think about. But I think it definitely would change the game if somehow there was a way to basketball-wise, yes, get with the professional coaches and improve. But it's also, if you do make a roster and you don't end up playing a lot, you've seen the schedule the past couple years with the increased games.
It's
you
nuts.
Play, travel, play. So there's honestly not a lot of time to practice either.
Right.
So like you said, in the off season are different opportunities where you can have time to improve. Right now, it's a lot like taking ownership yourself. If you want to improve, you got to take it on you, like on whatever time you can find. But like you said, if there was a way to have time with coaches, that development aspect, that would really be a game changer.
For sure. All right. Maybe you can help me with a name here. We did the same exact questions we did at Wizards Media Day. We called it the Wiz Quiz because it worked well, and we're a Hokie sports radio show, and that's the best we could do. I was like, the Sticks Quiz doesn't quite have the same ring to it. I don't know.
The Miss Quiz.
The Miss Quiz? I don't know. We'll just,
not as good.
Here's our fun, quick-hitting questions at the end that don't need a stupid name. All right. Your favorite vacation you've ever been on?
Ooh, I don't take a lot of vacations because I'm from Southern California by the beach, so at home.
Home counts as vacation?
Yes.
Love that. Place you want to go on vacation if you decide that maybe you've had enough of the Southern California beach?
I would love to go to Hawaii. I've been for a tournament in college once, so I just hit the courts there, but I would love to go back for a vacation.
I'm now kicking myself. I've already probably been way over time, but I'm now kicking myself for not asking you your favorite Tara story.
My favorite, yes.
If you have a quick one, I will interrupt my quiz here to get your favorite Tara story.
What is a quick one? Shout out to the GOAT who just retired, obviously. She just...
Tell you what, we'll circle back on it later in the season. All right, coffee order.
My coffee order is an iced oat vanilla latte.
Great choice. We could use one right now. Teammate you trust most to drive on a road trip?
I feel like I need to get to know my teammates a little better.
No one's stuck out yet. Do you have a teammate that has already stuck out as the least you would trust to drive on a road trip?
Oof. Okay, my answer, I trust Steph. She drove me to dinner the other day.
Okay.
It was a great trip.
Okay.
Least trust, I don't have an answer yet.
Okay. That's honestly, that's a good thing. You're like one day of training camp. Best and worst on the aux in the locker room or the weight room?
Best maybe is Mai and Shatori.
Okay.
Worst could be me. I just have a playlist of all different vibes in one. So it could be slow, it could be fast. We don't know. You
could be in a groove, and then the groove, we leave the groove. Okay. All right. Feel it. All right. I give you one shot outside the paint for $1,000 that you have to make. Where are you spotting up?
Corner 3, right corner.
It was amazing. That's what everyone... like all the Wizards players that took this, it was all corner threes. I'm like, this is an indication of where basketball has gone. And then when we did this with the Wizards, actually, we're in the middle of the W finals. We're now going to flip it because we're in the middle of the NBA playoffs. Do you have any NBA finals predictions?
Oof.
A lot harder because for them it was between two teams. Now we're still in the first round. But
yeah. Well, when did the Lakers and Denver play today?
Oh, God, I can't remember.
Anyway, I was glad the Lakers did not get swept. So
I do know that series is still ongoing, which is nice for LA.
So go Lakers is basically.
That's basically your thoughts on the NBA playoffs. All right, that works for me. Carly Samuelson, everybody. This was lovely. We'll catch up with Tara stories later in the season.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be back with more on YouTube from Mystics Media Day in just a little bit. All right, we're back at Mystics Media Day with Maisha Hines-Allen. Maisha, how are you?
I'm good, good.
So how was the off season for you?
It was good. I played in Turkey and Istanbul with Gala. I came back 2 months before the season ended, so that was good just to be back home and get acclimated again.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we've seen in the last couple of years the W's changed the rules on that where, like, you have to be back. Did that influence your decision at all, or was it just kind of like a personal preference thing where you're like, no, I would like to be back home and feel home before diving into a season?
Yeah, it was definitely it didn't affect it at all. The season would have ended before training camp started anyway. Yeah. I just wanted to come back home.
Yeah.
I'm over like the overseas stuff.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. What do you still enjoy playing overseas, or is it kind of just a reality that we're, because of where we are and the trajectory of the league, if we want to be nice about it, or because y'all don't get paid enough, if I want to be more direct, that's kind of what you feel like you have to do?
Definitely early on in my career, I felt like that's what I had to do. Now, since I'm getting older, this is my 7th season now in the W. I'm like so over like overseas. Like, it's just so long. The season's just so long, and you definitely have different factors that go into things that you like and don't like about playing overseas. So for me, next season, I don't think I'll be going overseas. Don't hold me to it, but I think I'm not going over.
I'm good friends with one of your former teammates, Alicia Clark, and I swear AC has said that every single year. And then finally this year, she like didn't go overseas.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, look at you, finally actually staying put. Who would have thought? Is it hard, like from a basketball sense? Obviously, there's so much culturally and whatever of going overseas and that experience. But from a basketball standpoint, like you average 26 a game over there. Like you're in a starring role. You're getting to get up a lot of shots. And then you come back here and it's a different role. You're a sixth player for a lot of your career, kind of that, bench microwave scorer type of player. So is it different, or is it hard in any way to adjust from being a top player in terms of like, hey, we're designing offense for you, we're pushing the ball to you, versus kind of trying to fit in more, especially in the past couple of years here with Elena being the star who's getting most of the shots?
Yeah, I mean, my whole career, I was like the one that they built around. So it's kind of helped me, be more of a team player, fit into different systems. When you go overseas, the teams are never the same. You're playing with a lot of different players, some from over here, some just from that country. So it's definitely helped my game grow in the sense of I can be plugged in any system. So that's, I think, why I'm so successful here in the W. Like our team has changed some like over the time, So I think it's definitely helped me, just be able to adapt and adjust to whatever is thrown at me. Because like you said, my roles have changed, throughout my career here in the W. So I just credit that to, overseas.
So now the fun question for this year is, like, what's your role on this team? I know you guys haven't done a lot yet, but you certainly, take a look around and try to size it up as you go into the season. What do you think your role is on this year's version of the Mystics?
I think it's just to be aggressive and to be myself, which is, being aggressive. That doesn't mean scoring the ball every single time, but that also doesn't mean that I'm passing up shots, because clearly my teammates are passing me the ball for a reason, to facilitate in the role that I've been doing before, and rebounding. I think those are the big three for me right now. Talking to Eric too, that's what they're looking for me to do.
I'm so fascinated by your game because you are so skilled, but you are so physical and strong as well. And I feel like as a kid, literally, like as long as you were also big and strong as a kid, like you could just succeed by knocking people out of the way. And in that way, a lot of kids don't actually develop. Like being the big kid growing up isn't actually always great for a kid's development. There's all these stories, like Anthony Davis is the classic one of, like, he was a point guard all the way up till like junior year, and then he became 7 foot, and then it worked out that he's got this incredible combo package. Like, what was kind of your path and growth growing up that you wound up being the player that you are now? Yeah,
so growing up, I wasn't big and strong. I actually was skinny and just lanky. So that was like the first thing. And then my coaches growing up were like, no, you need to dribble the ball. Like, you need to know how to dribble the ball. So I was always the tallest. So it was difficult for me because I'm like playing against, shorter players, but I'm dribbling the ball. Like, I'm the one running the offense, scoring, whatever the case may be. So early on, I definitely credit my coaches for instilling that confidence in me that I can actually put the ball on the ground no matter what position I'm playing. In college, my first year, that is when I picked up a weight for the first time.
Oh, wow.
Never lifted, nothing like that before. I couldn't even do a push-up. Not even joking.
Wow.
Could not even do a push-up. I actually learned how to do 5 probably by my junior year in college. So then in college, they put me at, that 4 or 5 position. So then that's when I really got acclimated with being a post player, and now in the W, I'm undersized. So my strength.
You've had a wild ride.
Yeah, exactly. But this goes back to just being able to adapt. So I've been able to play different positions my whole career. And I mean, right now it's working. I'm undersized, but I'm quick, so I can get past like a 6'5" post player. But at the same time, you put a 4 on me, I can bang down low with them. So I'm just using that to my advantage. As
you gain that strength, did it take a while to understand how to use it?
First of all, I'm not even going to lie to you. You can ask any of my teammates. I still don't know how strong I am. Everyone's like, yeah, you're so strong. Like, Steph, first time we played pickup, she's like, all right, do not, how you play. Do not do that to me. I'm like, okay. Like, the second play, I did it, and I'm like, wait, what? I'm just so used to it.
Why are you mad at me?
Exactly. I'm like, I'm just so used to, playing like this, and I really, still don't know how strong I am. But everyone's like, oh, you're so strong. And I'm like, okay.
Did you have, a story where you kind of, were like, oh, I put my shoulder down and she went flying, and you all of a sudden realize oh no, what people are telling about me is real?
So it happens a lot in the games, but I still don't even think that I'm using all my force. So it's it's so weird to me. I'm like, I really didn't even move you. Girls go or women go flying or whatever, and it's oh, you really dip your shoulder. I'm like, no, I did not.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's flopping, and back in my mind, I'm like, damn, I'm really that strong.
Yeah. I'm sure some of those conversations happen with the referees too, which is always
exactly.
really fun. I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, okay.
You set a screen and they go flying.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like, why are you flopping?
Yeah.
No, you actually set a hard screen.
So you've been around for a couple years here and seen, obviously we saw Mike to Eric and that evolution, but over the last year, they've been kind of this revolution of monumental basketball, and Michael Winger's come in over the top. I know he spent a lot of time with the Wizards, obviously, in part because of the timing of when he came in. And I remember his introductory presser last year. He's like, yeah, Mike seems to have the Mystics figured out. Like, I'm going to keep my hands off, because he had just gotten here as y'all were getting started. But he also said at his Wizard season-ending press conference this year, like, I'm going to go spend some time with the Sticks now. Have you seen any changes, or whether it's around the building or some of the basketball operations and how you guys run things, where he's been able to contribute ideas on the Mystics side of things?
Yeah, so like you said, when he came and talked to us as a group, he was like, I think Mike has it. I'm just going to let him handle it. So for the most part, last year, I didn't really see much of a change. It was just how, we were how we operated on a day-to-day. But now I can definitely see, around the building at ESA, little changes here and there. I mean, the court is one change for me. It's now, before it was tan, now it's all blue. So, it's just, little stuff like that I notice. But, yeah, you're starting to see, little changes here and there.
Gotcha. Last thing before our final couple of questions would be about holding a microphone, because this is not new to you. You hosted a podcast a couple years ago, I saw. What did you learn about, the media life doing that season of the podcast, and why did you want to do it?
Listen, it's expensive. That's one thing that I
can confirm.
Listen, what? And then I'm talking. That's why I was like, wait, you do this is your show. It's so expensive. I can't imagine how much this equipment costs. It's not a lot of equipment right here, but I can only imagine how much it costs.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing I noticed. But I wanted to do offline because I felt like we always hear about the same people. It's never the underdogs. It's never the ones. We talked about AC. She's been in the league for a long time. I don't think, well, now it's starting to change, but I don't think before, people actually knew her story, or they just knew she played for the Seattle Storm, won championships with them, and then, then went to us. So just to be able to tell everyone's story, just women in sports story, and not just the female athlete, but, you got a strength and conditioning coach, you have a masseuse, so there's different aspects in women of sports that I wanted to touch on.
Is that something that's still simmering in the back of your mind? Eventually I want to get back to season 2?
Yeah. So, me and A talk about it all the time. She's like, you have to start it up again. I really want you to start it up. It was good. Just to hear from different people and, get me out of my comfort zone, of course. So she's been egging me on to start it up again. And I'm just still caught up on how expensive it was.
Yeah.
And time consuming also. It definitely takes a lot of time. And in season, I want to just focus on basketball and, staying healthy.
Hey, if you don't go overseas next year.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. And that's what I was thinking. If I don't go, fingers crossed I don't. I would definitely do it in the off season. Gotcha.
All right. Our kind of hot button question of the day before we get to some quick hitters to wrap up is about expansion. What do you think expansion would mean for the league, and whether that is expansion for putting teams in new markets and actually getting more teams, or just expanding rosters and creating some more jobs, and what that can mean for a bunch of players that are kind of on this cutting edge right now?
Yeah. For me personally, I think that I would like to see more teams rather than more roster spots. Just because how I look at it, if you get more roster spots, it's not necessarily everyone getting the opportunity to play. Yeah, you'll be in the system, you get to learn, but sometimes being on that court is more beneficial than, every single day. And you also don't know if they would be able to travel. So I feel like if you get more teams, you would have a better opportunity of playing. Most teams play 7-8 players max.
Right.
So for me, I would definitely like to see more teams in the league. Like you said, the game is growing. These college kids that are in the W now, I mean, they definitely turned the corner for us and helping us in a great deal. So I would definitely like to see more teams.
Gotcha. All right. Last bunch of quick hitters here. Favorite vacation you've ever been on?
So I don't go on vacation often. So like I'm gonna say like the first one I went on was Jamaica.
That's not a bad first one.
Yeah.
What's the place that's on your list then if you decide to go on another one?
Greece.
Greece?
For sure.
Great choice. What's your coffee order?
I don't drink coffee.
Do you have like are you a tea person or just like no caffeine?
No, I cannot take caffeine. Like I'm already jittery. Like I'm already up, so it's like caffeine on top of that is crazy.
Respect. Teammate that you trust most to drive on a road trip?
To drive on a road trip. Well, I'm going to just stick with the teammate I trust most. I'm going to go with A. But
okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Are you like, I'm driving?
Yeah, I would probably be
you'd be the driver? Do you have a
and
teammate
she'd fall asleep probably.
Do you have a teammate that you trust least to drive on the road trip?
Queen, for sure.
No hesitation there. Best and worst on the aux in the locker room?
I'm going to go Shatori, best. Worst. Probably go like... Yeah, like, no.
You just keep the bad ones off. That works.
Yeah.
Good answer. All right. I give you one shot. It's got to be outside the paint. You make it, you get $1,000. Where are you posting up? Where are you spotting up?
Outside the paint?
Got to be outside the paint.
Right at the box. Bank shot.
So many people are like, I'm going to take the corner three. I'm like, I don't know. I can get about 7 feet away on the edge of the paint right there. That seems like a good one. And then last but not least, we did this last year with the Wizards at their media day. We were in the middle of the W Finals, so I'm flipping the question now. We're in the middle of the NBA playoffs. Do you have an NBA Finals prediction as we sit here on April 29th?
I'm sick right now. I'm not even going to hold you. I want LeBron to win, but it's given Denver and...
Going Boston, going chalk?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The East.
East.
It doesn't even matter who's. I'm going to go Knicks.
Okay.
I'm going to go Knicks.
Okay.
I'm going to go Knicks.
That's a bold choice.
They're playing really well.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Maisha Hines-Allen with us here on Mystics Media Day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rolling on from Mystics Media Day with Ariel Atkins. Ariel, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Well. How's your off season? How you feeling?
Off season was really good. I had some time to take on a new endeavor in coaching out Michigan basketball. Yep. That was interesting, definitely new, and got some time to really just rest my body and grow.
Yeah. How do you think that being a coach changed your approach and the way you see the game as a player?
Definitely the film never lies. You always learn that. And even when you're trying to correct a mistake in the game, kind of the way that a coach sees it is just a little different because they're sitting on the sideline watching you make the same mistake over and over again. And as a player, sometimes you feel like you're doing something and it's not what it is. But also as a player, you really get to dictate the game. So.
Do you feel like it's one of those things where as a player you watch the mistake and you're like, I know what I was trying to do there?
Yeah.
Where the coach like has a much more objective view. And you think that you can then take that kind of coach's eye to watch yourself on film?
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely. I definitely probably won't argue my point as much.
Yep, Eric, I got you.
Yeah, right.
This is a very new year for you, very new year for the team. You know, Elena and Natasha have been the faces of this organization for so long. You've kind of been emerging behind them, but now there's no one in front of you.
Yeah,
there's no one in the way.
Right.
Do you feel that like whether it's in the locker room, you look around and you're like, oh no, it's me. Whether it's kind of the public facing face of the team type of stuff. Do you feel that?
Definitely felt it. Obviously, when they both both made a decision to do what was best for them, vice versa for the organization. I mean, whatever you have it, business is business. Love both of them to death. But they made personal decisions, that was best for them, and definitely opened up a lane for me. I've learned a lot from both of them over my time working with them and being their teammate and being their friend. But at the end of the day, it is, you do see the growth over time, and talking to Coach T and E and Maria and just how they believe in me, not only as a basketball player, but as a person as well.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting because your resume is ridiculous. Like,
yeah,
you're already a champion, like you're Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
Like, you have all these things, multiple-time All-Star. Like, you have all these things, and yet people are like, oh, yeah, she's there with those other players. Like, is that exciting for you? Is it nerve-wracking? Like, what emotions do you feel as you prepare for this season where, like, you're it?
Right. Not nerve-wracking at all. I mean, obviously, I'd be lying if I said there wasn't any pressure. Like, obviously, there's pressure, but we talk about all the time, like, how you earn pressure, how pressure is really a privilege. And so that's really exciting for me because it just lets me know that not only did I put in the work, but I waited my turn, and I wasn't crazy about it. I learned while I could. I was a sponge while I could be, and I'm still a lifelong learner. Like, that will never change. But I feel like I've done everything that I needed to be able to be prepared for this moment, and I'm truly blessed to be able to be here in this time.
How did you balance coaching and also making sure that you did what you needed to do as a player?
Really didn't, honestly. It was really one of the hardest things I had to figure out. I just, on days that I could get as much work in for myself, I did. And on some days, I just didn't have the time. And so balance wasn't really a thing. I just did what I could and made sure that I made time for myself when I could.
Yeah. You've been here a bunch of years now, and we've seen kind of this evolution of, obviously going Mike to Eric, and then over the last year you have Michael Winger coming in as the president of Monumental Basketball. And I know he spent a lot of time with the Wizards, but he's now, I know, investing his time a little bit more on your side of things. What have you seen from him and his group and the changes that you see since he arrived?
It's the small things, right? Something as small as like the trash cans in the building that he pays attention to, that I think for some people they would overlook it, but for him, he's so detail oriented, which is it works for me and like my personality. And I love how focused he is on the little things that help us get a competitive advantage. Everything he does is geared towards us winning championships and being one of the best organizations in our league. So I appreciate the things that he's been able to do, and I'm excited to have him around a little more. Obviously, he came in kind of like the middle of our season last year,
right,
and basically told us he wasn't going to see us much because he had some things he wanted to do on the other side.
Right.
So he's very transparent, very open. But I'm excited to see everything that we can get done. Obviously, I'm here for the next few years, per se, on contract, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I'm excited to see kind of what he does within my time here.
Have you had a chance to just like talk ball with him and pick his brain on how he thinks about basketball?
No, not much actually. We talked a little bit at one of the games early on, but I haven't really just had time. He's a really busy guy.
Yeah.
And he's got a family. So when he's here and he's working, you don't want to be like, hey, let me pull this guy's side. Like, go home to your kids,
Yeah.
But I haven't really had time to like just sit and talk basketball.
Gotcha. Off the court, you work with a great company, Voices in Sport,
yes,
and you recently spoke on avoiding comparison and why that can be so dangerous for especially young athletes. But I think it's interesting. We talk about like the film stuff. Like inevitably, when you're watching film, you're watching to try to learn from. A lot of it's schematics. It's not personnel, but you inevitably like, oh, I'm going to be in that position of that player.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things. So how do you channel whatever comparison, whatever word you want to use in a healthy way, and how do you advise people and take your own advice to avoid the unhealthy comparisons?
I think it's kind of what you said. I think first and foremost, understanding the difference between healthy and unhealthy comparison. Like some healthy comparison, like, hey, like she did this thing that I want to add it to my game, like let me do this, versus like, oh, she did this thing and everybody just thinks she's so good and just thinks she's so this. Like, like you have to really change your mindset and be honest about like where you are as a person and be like confident in who you are and knowing like that these are things that I am good at. These are things that I can do, and being able to kind of speak to yourself in that way and not being afraid of criticism when it does come, because you have to be able to handle the good and the bad of it.
Is avoiding comparison hard in an environment like USA basketball when you're surrounded by the absolute best players in the world?
It's not, because you're not even really thinking about that. Like, I think the environment of USA basketball is such a competitive and a standard of excellence that if you're thinking about yourself, you probably aren't doing it right.
That's interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting. you've been also using some neural training, from what I understand, for the last couple years, which basically means, for those that don't know, is like you add a decision-making element to that, whether it's lights or however, I don't know which system that you're using, but you come around, and we're maybe in the old days, people would be like, all right, go around that cone, 2 dribble pull up, and it's just like, that's the drill. You work on the skill. Now it's like, all right, you're going to come around that cone. If the light's yellow, shoot. If it's green, pass to the corner. All that kind of stuff. So how have you? One, how have you used that? Like, how often are you using that? And two, like, how do you feel like it's impacted your game?
Yeah, so I did it. I wasn't able to do it as much last off season because I wasn't here. I wasn't in town. I work with Reza at Neural Mind, and basically the drills that we do was really testing it out maybe a couple seasons ago just to kind of see if it could help me just 1%. Like, all we wanted was a 1% difference, and it definitely helps like with reaction time and things like that. But it stretches those different parts of your brain that you never really think about stretching when you have a basketball in your hands. Something as small as me having to add 17 plus 4 versus 17 plus 3 because that's so easy to do, right? But 17 plus 4, I carry the 1, So it's like, it's small things like that. But being able to do it like while you're tired was my thing, why I really wanted to get into it, because I wanted to be able to think precisely and think efficiently when I'm tired.
Yeah, no, 100%. Makes a ton of sense. And that's a skill that you're going to have to use a lot this year with the ball in your hands in big situations late, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we wrap up with some fun quick hitters. You kind of, we're hearing some of these when Maisha was sitting in the chair. What's your favorite vacation that you've ever been on?
My favorite vacation I've ever been on? Probably somewhere in Italy. I mean, it wasn't a vacation. I was still like working technically, but probably in Italy.
Okay. What's the place that if you get to go on a vacation you want to go to that you haven't been yet?
My dream place to visit is Thailand.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard great things. It's such a long flight, though.
It is, but I've played in Australia, so.
Okay. Nothing's as long as that. All right. What's your coffee order?
Coffee order is a matcha latte extra vanilla.
Okay. Teammate you trust most to drive on a road trip? This always gets the biggest sigh.
I know. Let's give Lenny a shout out. Lenny might drive me somewhere because there are a few people I won't name.
Okay, well, I was going to say, teammate you trust least to drive on a road trip.
Even though she probably trusted me.
Yeah. Best and worst on the aux in the locker room?
Best, I would probably say Kira. Worst, I'd probably put myself because I'd probably put something slow on, and they don't really like that.
Yeah, not vibing with that. All right, and one shot for $1,000. Got to be outside the paint. Where are you spotting up?
I'm going with the infamous corner 3.
Going with the corner 3, and any NBA Finals predictions?
Let's go with Dallas Mavs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hometown
team.
Duncanville
Hometown team. House. Duncanville, Texas, baby.
Lived in Dallas for a couple years.
Yeah.
Yes, I actually know where Duncanville is.
Oh, thank you.
There we go.
Thank you.
All right, Ariel Atkins with us here on Media Day. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Continuing, rolling on. They're keeping a tight schedule here. I love it.
Very tight. That's how we like it.
Eric Thibault is with us. How's your off season? How you feeling coming into the season?
It was busy. It was fast. I feel like in our league, you used to get little bit more downtime, but now with kind of the way free agency has changed and the attention on our league.
Carly told me you were on a plane to London when it opened.
That was an easy trip to convince ourselves to go on, by the way. Not the worst place we've ever traveled.
No.
That part of it, taking free agent visits and then, getting on the road, college scouting. We had players in town. So busy, very busy, but that's good. It's a good problem.
For sure. What did you, they always say, like in basketball, the biggest 6 inches on the court or slightly off of it is moving from the lead assistant chair over to that head chair. What did you learn doing it last year for the first time in the W?
Probably something I was aware of but hadn't been through, which is the sheer number of decisions you have to make every day. The fans and the outside world see the couple hours of a game, but all the prep and all the things you have to do, some of which have nothing to do with basketball, that you have to have opinions and decisions on. I think that's the biggest change. And, as an assistant, you give suggestions, and as a head coach, you have to make the call. And so I was very lucky to have a great staff that I was really familiar with. But now I'm in the position of kind of taking all those opinions and reaching a decision.
How did you manage the giving and taking of suggestions? Because there's some of the things you're referencing, right? Human elements to all of this. And I'm sure you were at a point where you'd give a suggestion and maybe Mike would go the other way and you're like, well, dang. And managing, the basketball, the human side, like was that part of the evolution over the course of the year? It's
with staff and it's with players. I think my primary job is to try to get everybody aligned. So, a player has a suggestion, a staff member has a suggestion. Sometimes I use it, sometimes we don't. But how do we then all get on the same page and commit to what we're going to do? So that's always the challenge, but that's what I like about the job as well.
As people know about you, you were a second-generation lifer, at least second-generation lifer doing this. What's something that you learned from your dad about basketball that you consider core to who you are as a coach?
It should be fun. Like, being on a team is fun. Nobody, I wouldn't trade my job for anybody else's. This is the dream, and as he said many times, and we try to reiterate to our team, we get to come every day and get paid to play or coach basketball, and there's nothing better than that. So try to keep that front of mind all the time.
On the inverse, what's something that maybe as you've gotten older and stepped into this chair, or the game has evolved, or whatever the reason is, that you maybe learned when you were younger from him, or just from being around the game, that you're like, I don't actually think that's true anymore?
Oh, that was different where I thought you were going. That's a good question. That I don't think is true anymore. I don't know. I think the core parts of the game stay the core parts of the game. An unselfish team is always going to be better than a selfish team. I don't know.
Honestly, I like that, though, because, I have a foundational core saying of, methods are many, principles are few. Methods don't always last.
Great way to put it.
Principles always do, right? So if the principles stay the same, even though the geometry of the game is different now, the core principles of how you achieve what you want to do shouldn't really change if they're good. And clearly you learn from someone who's pretty good at this.
There's probably plenty of little basketball things, if I thought hard enough, that I don't think are true anymore. But they might never have been true, and we just took us a while to catch up.
That's a great.
How long did it take everybody to get on board with 3 is more than 2? Pretty foundational, but
right.
So there's probably a million things like that. I think getting good people, being about the team is always going to be true.
What difference? I know, last year he spent a lot of time with the Wizards and intentionally kind of left you guys alone because of when he got here. But now that Michael Winger has started to ingratiate himself more, all through Monumental basketball, what's that relationship been like for you?
He's been excellent and a really valuable resource. Michael, if you're watching, you've been excellent and a really valuable resource. No,
you got that, boss?
No, I think, as this grows and gets bigger, there's a lot of things that come with it. Everything from facilities to media to, just how we operate the building, and having somebody that can oversee and make decisions around that really makes our life on kind of the basketball operations side a lot easier. And he's got a vision for the organization. And I think as we kind of have our vision for the Mystics, he's somebody that can really help guide and support that as well.
For the better part of a decade, your offense was built around a 6'4" big who could shoot, could get her shot from absolutely anywhere, and whenever she wanted in Elena. Now you don't have that. how do you take some of those core foundational principles and, build something new and evolve into what you want this team to be, especially offensively this year?
Pro basketball, you have to tailor to your personnel. It's not college where you can recruit to the system the same extent. We built around Elena because that was the smart thing to do. Quite frankly, it was the smart thing to do, and our team's going to be different. I think we have a couple of guards who are probably going to be, more centerpieces to our offense in Ariel and Brittany Sykes. And, Shakira's growth on that end of the floor is going to be a big part of our development. So, we're probably going to be a team with a little bit more movement, both in the half court and a little bit more off the ball stuff. We had to be super careful about maximizing the space around Elena. And we don't have that focal point the same way anymore. And so it's different. It's a challenge, but that's my job to help our players keep figuring out how to do that, how to play without the ball, how to move, how to play in space. And, change is fun.
Not that you don't want Elena to just be able to be like, all right, hey, big situation here. Let's get the ball to Elena and everybody get out the way. But, like, as a coach, is that in a way more, I don't say more fun. I'm trying to think of a way to I'm not trying to get you in trouble here. It's not trying to be a gotcha question. But, like, I would imagine that there is joy in that challenge. Is that true? Is that fair?
It's a challenge no matter what. I mean, it's just it's a different challenge. Maybe the challenge before was double teams and switching, and now it's going to be more how do we generate advantages.
Right.
So it's a fresh challenge. It's not I don't know. Winning is fun. Scoring is fun, and winning is fun. So that's the challenge no matter what.
For sure. Why was Aaliyah the right pick for you guys, and what can she do? I mean, obviously, there's a long-term trajectory, but what can she do this year for you guys?
The right pick, both as a human being and I think as a basketball player. When we talked to her, it was just a real natural, seamless fit. She's an unselfish person who wants to get better, who plays exceptionally hard, who's played on good teams, who's been coached hard, who thinks about teammates and how to make them better and what dirty work can I do for our group. And we thought that fit right in kind of with what we're trying to do. I think this year on the court, I think you're going to see a good defensive big right from the jump. And then offensively, I think she's had to answer a lot of questions since the draft about her own shooting and her development into being a stretch four. And that's going to be an ongoing long-term development. But there's things she can do now, finish around the basket, play from the high post, facilitate for teammates that she's going to be able to jump in and do right away.
Natasha, obviously the other big absence here, or the other big departure, and she was such a vocal leader for this team. Who do you imagine, or who do you envision filling that role?
Nobody can be Tosh. It's not a like for like sub for anybody else. She had to be herself, and now the people that are here have to be themselves. And we need a collection of leaders on this team. That was true last year and the years before that, and it's true now. So, that group, that core group we're bringing back of Ariel Atkins and Brittany Sykes and Shakira Austin, they're the ones I'm going to put the most responsibility on. They're ready for that challenge. But we brought other people in here that are going to contribute to that as well. Steph Dolson, Carly Samuelson. I think we're going to have a good collection of voices and leaders.
Is that something where you do put your thumb on the scale a little bit as a coach, or how much of that is observational for you to see like who naturally steps up, if you will?
It's natural, but it's not natural for everybody. But some people want, Ariel's not the natural most vocal person, but she wants to be a leader.
Yeah.
When she speaks, it carries weight because she's all about the right thing. So try to keep prodding and pushing. Almost sometimes just reminders like, hey, let's hear you a little bit today. But I think more than anything, it's my job to make sure that what we say matches up with what we do, and that's across the board.
All right. One kind of hot button topic we're talking about with everybody is expansion, and I'm curious, especially for you as a coach, like if you had a bigger roster, both short term and long term, what would that allow you to do? And then, I mean, obviously the expansion we know is coming is as a league adding new teams, but if they were to also add roster spots, as a coach, I feel like that's almost more pertinent to you. So what would that do for you?
Well, one thing I'm not going to do is get fined for talking about collectively bargained issues like roster size. But no, I think adding teams is going to add jobs. We've added games to the schedule, so anything that makes it better for us to get through the season healthy is good. I think in all likelihood we'll carry 12 players this year, which we haven't done for a while, for several years. But beyond that, I'm not going to say too much and get myself in trouble.
Okay. I didn't realize that was a thing that you couldn't talk about, so I apologize for putting you in that spot. Last but not least, kind of wrapping up with some quick hitters. What is your favorite vacation that you've ever been on?
Ooh. Taken a couple good trips to Europe with some friends, and I've been to see my Liverpool boys. So that was a good one, getting to Anfield. That's
definitely on the list. A place that you want to go that you still haven't made it to?
I have not been to Australia.
Okay.
Which I feel like I can find a good work excuse for that.
I was
going to
say, like, if you got to London for Carly, like, you just got to start scouting the Australian League early next year.
Coach T went this year to Australia. I didn't get the invite on that trip.
Dagger.
No, I'll say Australia. That's a good one.
Okay. What's your coffee order?
If we won, it's an oat milk latte with caramel, but only winners get flavor. So otherwise, just oat milk latte.
Wow, that is a
shout
philosophy.
Out to Daniel Villarreal, former Mystic employee.
Teammate, or I guess I'll go staff for you. I was gonna say like your players, but I feel like that puts you in a really terrible spot. So I'm gonna put you in a bad spot with your staff instead. Who's the staff member you trust to drive the most on a road trip?
I'll say we have a pretty reliable staff on that regard. I'll say Latoya Sanders, because I've actually done it. I've actually ridden in the car with her, and then Maria Giovanetti and I, we've been all over the world together. So I'll trust Maria and Latoya.
Is there anybody that you're like, nah?
Sefu Bernard, director of player development, because an hour trip would be 10 hours. That would be a road trip.
Okay. I don't know, how often are you in like the weight room or the locker room where the music's going? Do you have a good feel on who's the best and worst on the aux?
Well, I would say staff has controlled it more during the season in the gym. Maisha Hines-Allen's the worst, and I don't know who's the best.
Okay.
I always like what we got coming out of the weight room, so I'll shout out our strength coach, Sarah Walls.
Nice. And then last but not least for you, NBA Finals prediction.
I've been on the Denver train for several years. I hope they go back-to-back.
That is a good train to be on. Eric Thibault, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Back with more from Mystics Media Day in just a few minutes. Continuing our Media Day coverage with the Mystics, Stephanie Dolson is down in the chair. How are you? How's your off season?
Very good.
Besides chaotic?
Yeah, it's always chaotic though.
Yeah.
But it was good. Kind of relaxing. Took some trips, so it was nice.
What was your favorite trip? Since there was multiple, what was your favorite trip of the off season?
Either Cancun or I just went to West Palm, Florida, and that was just gorgeous.
Nice.
Very relaxing, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely nice. Now, I'm going to start real quick, kind of newsy item with you. Okay. Obviously, Candace retired.
Mm-hmm.
Was that your former teammate? Surprised at all by that? I guess it's hard to be surprised when it's your 16. But
yeah, yes and no. I think, like she said, she kind of didn't want to let it go, but at the same time, your body tells you kind of have to. You know, it was an amazing opportunity for me to play with her. Even though it was just one season, we did an amazing thing that season. So it was an opportunity to be able to play next to someone like Candace Parker, and I'm just, proud to say that I got to see her play and play with her.
Yeah. What's your favorite CP story?
I don't know if I have one. It was such a quick year.
Yeah.
I just think the fact that we won a championship.
Pretty cool.
She came and she thought it was going to take a couple of years to win, and it took 1 year for her to come to Chicago and for it all to gel and for us to win.
Yeah, no, just a remarkable player,
Yeah.
remarkable teammate. And if anyone who is interested in more in Candace hasn't seen the documentary that she put out over the summer, just really, really great stuff. Now, we already talked before we started recording, so this is perhaps a leading question, but who was the most fun teammate that you played with in college?
In college, Caroline Doty.
Okay. Do you have a favorite Doty story? This is me personally indulging on someone that I've known for a decade, but do you have a favorite Caroline story?
Not one that I can say
Into a
in
microphone?
person. Yeah, into a microphone.
Fair enough.
But we do have matching tattoos.
Okay, which
It's on my foot, though.
okay,
You can't see it.
yeah,
but
no,
it was
that
for a
would-
championship in New Orleans. So we got the Fleur de Lis together.
Oh, that's a great call. That's a good enough one that you can tell into a microphone.
Yes.
I feel like that counts.
Yeah.
Okay. We all get to this point in our lives where we look around the room and we're like, dang it, I'm the oldest one here. For you, that's this locker room this season. What kind of leadership role do you try to take with that, and what kind of responsibility do you feel like comes with that?
Well, I've always been a talker. Like, I naturally talk a lot. So I think for me, it's lead by example, but also lead with my voice. So I'm going to do my best to kind of just share my experiences with them, not push them too hard. Because it is a lot of young talent. I think there's so much excitement about playing. But at the same time, we want to focus on wins, but we want to focus on getting better. So I'm trying to just keep that outlook on the season and just competing every day. And it's new for me because I've never been the oldest, and I'm only 32. I'm not that old.
Right. I'm not at a point where I've ever been in a situation where, like, no, I'm really actually old. I just sometimes look around. I'm like, how did everyone become younger than me?
Yes. And this generation is just different. So, I'm trying to figure out how to be the oldest, but also be current.
Right.
So we'll see
If
how
you
it
figure
goes.
it out, let me know.
Yeah, no, I have not.
If you figure it out, let me know. But do you also feel like then, because then everyone's like, oh, she's here to be a leader. And it's like, no, I can still play. Like, do you feel like you have something to prove in that category as well?
Yeah, and I think for me, I also have a little bit to prove because, last season in New York, no disrespect to anyone, I got pushed back a little bit. I didn't get to play as much as I thought I would, and as much as I wanted to. So I think coming here, I'm just excited to get the opportunity to play and show people that I still have a lot in the tank and, just contribute as much as I can on the court, whether it's just rebounding, screening, or scoring.
What was the pitch like from Mike and Eric and everybody however that went down to convince you that this was the right place for you?
Didn't take a lot, honestly. Being my age, it's also just different priorities. I mean, I came and I saw the facility, and it's amazing. The way they take care of you as a player. It was an easy sell, but also I think they I think they wanted my type of leadership, whether it's the positivity or just the excitement around playing basketball for a living, and that joy that I bring. At least that's what they say. I didn't say that. I think they wanted that. So, I'm just trying to bring that. And, it was an easy choice to come here.
You've been on championship teams, as you mentioned, obviously in college, quite a few. And then you do have the WNBA championship as well. I know it's early. You guys have basically been playing pickup and then had, 1 day of training camp.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get a feel. But looking around, like, how good do you – like, because you both acknowledge that, like, oh, we're about getting better every day. Although I'm sure championship teams probably say that too.
Yeah, for
sure.
But
it would, per the experts, it would be quite an upset if you guys were a championship level team. But as you look around, like, how good do you think you can be?
Absolutely. I think we have a lot of surprises coming. I think we can surprise a lot of people. Like I said, competing is our number one thing, and winning a championship is always a priority for every team. But I think for us, it's going to come in a different way. You look around the league, and there's a lot of really great teams with a lot of talent, and we have a lot of talent as well. It's just, younger talent, and I think that's what is going to grow, and that's what's going to surprise people. We're going to compete so hard and play defense so hard that it's going to shock people and hopefully throw them off their game, and that's where I think we can kind of come up from behind and still compete for that championship.
All right, so we're wrapping up with a kind of a quick hitter quiz, real quick. Okay. So you touched on this one already, but your favorite vacation that you've been on? We said this off season. Do you have a favorite vacation ever that you've ever been on?
Oof. Not really, just any beach, honestly.
Any beach?
Yeah, I just love a beach.
Good. Do you have a specific place that you haven't been to that you want to go on vacation?
Yes, Croatia.
Croatia, okay.
Yeah, the Med. I want to go to the Med. I want to go sailing.
What's your coffee order?
Iced latte with almond milk.
Teammate that you trust the most to drive on a road trip? Have you been here long enough to have a good answer for that yet?
Probably not, but it's maybe Dee Dee, just because I know her the most.
Okay, all right. Have you had anybody that's emerged as the person that you would least trust to drive on a road trip yet?
No. I don't know everyone's driving skills just yet.
Who's the best and worst on the aux in the locker room or the weight room?
Maisha's really good. Okay. I like her. I'd probably say I'm the worst right now.
Okay.
Last time I picked someone, everyone's like, "Who picked this?" And I said,
I feel like I've had multiple people say, like, I'm the worst, which
really?
I think is good self-awareness, and multiple Maisha's the best. So
I actually thought I was good, but then I came here and it's just a different vibe.
Different vibe?
Yeah.
All right. Two more. One shot for $1,000. You get to spot up anywhere outside the paint. Where are you taking your shot from?
Top of the key, 3-pointer.
Okay. And then who is your NBA Finals winner?
That's really tough. I have to say back-to-back Denver.
Yeah, it does feel pretty wide open, though.
Yeah, no, it does. Like, Timberwolves look so good.
They do.
Their defense is amazing.
Yeah.
Denver looks good, but at the same time, a little wish-washy sometimes.
Yeah. Did you see the graphic with, like, the minutes led in the series? Like, the Lakers have led, like, 80% of the series, and then the Nuggets
somehow
are up 3-1.
They just went, yeah. So that's why I'm a little concerned about Denver as well.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Steph, this was great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We will continue with more from Mystics Media Day in just a few minutes. on from Mystics Media Day with Shakira Austin. Great to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
First of all, I'm sure you've been asked this a million times, but how you feeling?
I feel amazing. I feel very blessed right now to get back and continue to play the sport that I love.
How hard? Yeah, I heard you say in one of your other interviews, like this is your first major injury that you've had to rehab from. So what kind of test has that been for you?
Oh, it's definitely been an ongoing battle. Trying to understand the highs and the lows. Trying to, I wouldn't say lower my expectations, but understand that it's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster. And regardless of how great I'm doing, regardless of how much I'm taken care of, it's a new experience of, not being able to control everything. But it's definitely enlightened me in a new way, a different love for the game, a different perspective when it comes to being on the bench and supporting the girls and figuring out how I can pour into them in a different way. And it's been amazing. It's been a good journey.
Unfortunately, in sports, like you probably have plenty of people you could call that have been through major injuries. That is the nature of it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Was there anybody in particular, or a few people that you could lean on that have been there for you? Whether it's teammates, coaches. I mean, obviously you probably have family and everything too. But mentors that you've been able to call and lean on.
Right now I have just kept it to my family and my support staff here with DC. Honestly, they've been here with me every day. So, having their mentorship and their guidance along this new journey for me has been, more than helpful.
Is Maisha Hines-Allen helpful at all?
Yeah, she's great on getting on my nerves a lot. But she's a great person right there. She makes you laugh when you really need it. And, she's just about as annoying as it get though.
I'll take that footage from Maisha Cam and the social cam. I feel like you got 3 cameras that captured all of that. This is the beauty of Media Day. At the Wizards Media Day, I think I almost started a fist fight between Denny and Kyle.
I can wholeheartedly believe that.
Yeah, the brotherly fighting between them. My bad on that. In terms of the rehab process, obviously so much of it is spent physically preparing your body, but you also have a basketball season that you got to get ready for. Were you able to work on your game at all, and what maybe different elements did you work on more because you were limited athletically in what you were allowed to do?
Oh yeah, I think my favorite period, well, in the moment it wasn't my favorite moment, but now it was my favorite of actually not being able to do much. It had to be stationary, it had to be ball handling, it had to be formed, and just a lot of things that I'm able to tune up and focus on that. Having my full abilities, I probably wouldn't have focused on it as much. So I think that gray period of before I could really get clear to do stuff, that was where I was able to really work on a lot of my passing and just things, like I said, I wouldn't be able to focus on as much.
On the physical ability side, sometimes you hear athletes that are like, oh, yeah, when I came back from my injury, I came back stronger or whatever because you weight train or you focus on things a different way. We saw the picture the other day.
Yeah? Which one?
The one where you almost dunked.
Oh.
How, is that you? Is that real? Like, is the vert better than it was before?
Listen, I am stronger. I can jump way higher. It's just, I can't believe that, like, even after a surgery and, just having the 5 months of rehab and strength and lift conditioning, it's completely transformed my body. And, I'm so excited for that level when it comes to my game of, I remember when we first started doing contact, Coach E was coming over to, get over a screen for me, and I hit him. I initiated the contact, and he was like, whoa, Karen, like, he almost threw me to the ground. And I was like, hey, I'm getting stronger.
Is that what you want? Come on now.
I'm like, what, you want me to be soft? So, it's been really exciting to see that transformation in my body, not only mentally, but, just physically too.
You can dunk one this year?
Oh, yeah. My goal is to catch a body. I don't want to catch no clean one.
Not fast break.
Yeah, I don't want no wide open dunk. Like, of course, it'll be great if I get a dunk. But I wanted to switch it up a little bit, have a little pizzazz on it.
I love it. So this is a totally new team this year.
Yeah.
Elena's been the focal point, especially offensively, for so long.
Yeah.
Tasha's been the primary ball handler. They're both gone. You got you got A. Like, you have great players here, no doubt.
Yeah.
Where do you see your role, but on both sides? Because I think a lot of people from the outside, myself included, would be like, Kira is the anchor for this team on both ends. How do you see your role, though?
Yeah, pretty much what you just said. I think my defensive abilities can make us the best in the league, and I think my offensive game was definitely starting to showcase itself last year, and so now with a lot of pieces missing, it's really my time to step up. And that was my mentality of, regardless of who was going to be here, was I can do more to help this team win, especially offensively. And for me, I just want to be able to showcase that I can be dominant, but also make people around me better. And I think there's a lot of great players who can't really do that. So I want to become someone who can help that and help a franchise.
In year 3, do you suddenly look around and be like, wait, I think I'm a vet now?
Oh, yeah. I love it. I can sit around. I'm like, look at all the youngins coming in all late. I was just doing that last year, but it feels great. I feel like the rehab has upped me 3 more years. I'm in year 6 right now.
You know what's interesting about that? And I do a lot of stuff, talking to Spirit players as well. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you've gotten a chance to know any of them, but Croy Bethune, who's one of their rookies.
Yeah.
And we talked about this literally last week.
Mm-hmm.
Croy, unfortunately, had multiple ACL injuries coming through school. And she talked about how, because I had multiple of her teammates be like, she's one of the most mature rookies I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
And she talked about how it was because of the injuries.
Exactly.
She just got to a point where she didn't have a choice. Mm-hmm. That prehab and rehab and all that stuff was if I don't do this, I'm going to get hurt again.
Yes.
And I'll be damned if I'm getting hurt again. Is that what happened to you too, in a way?
It's completely what has helped change my perspective and, just my maturity. Like you said, it's something that forces you to do it. And if you want to come out here and play this game and play at a high level, you have to come in and do that, especially coming off an injury. And I think one of the common, hints that I've heard from older girls, from vets, is that they didn't learn until later in their careers how important it was to tune into their body and to become prepared and be a true pro. Because at the end of the day, I think a lot of us just tend to lean on our talents, and that will carry us far. But to come in and have different expectations for yourself and your body, and to be the first in the gym and the last to leave, it's definitely made me grow up a lot. And I've also learned to appreciate it. I've appreciated sometimes just being here all day, because it's just a grateful experience to still be able to go through and to still be able to come back from that.
No doubt. You're such a mega competitor. Anyone that's watched you play knows that. Anyone who's
seen you. If you would have caught practice the other day, you would have seen a lot of my teammates a little upset. So, yeah.
But people on the outside are like, oh, this is going to be a down year for the Mystics. Do you kind of low-key like that?
Oh, yeah. I love it. I want everyone in the world to think that the Mystics are complete shit right now and that we're not going to be able to do anything. Because that just keeps everything easy for us. We can continue to focus on us. We know what we have in that locker room. We know what we have on our staff, and we're confident in that we can really make something out of this year. So yeah, I want everybody to doubt us. I want every team to doubt us.
Yeah, bring it on.
Bring it.
All right, we're wrapping up with some fun questions here.
Okay.
Quick hitters. Your favorite vacation you've ever been on?
Favorite vacation? I would say Brazil. I went in high school, and that was a great experience. Really fun.
What's the place that you still want to go on vacation that you haven't been to yet?
Probably Turks and Caicos. Oh my gosh, I want to go out there. It's so pretty.
It looks so beautiful. I've never been, but
it looks.
If it looks
amazing.
as good as it does on Instagram,
exactly.
Send me.
Probably cost as beautiful as it looks.
Facts. What's your coffee order?
Coffee, I'm really not a coffee drinker, but since
do you have a go-to morning routine drink, something like that?
I will drink a tea. I love hot tea in the morning, but since we have it available here at the gym for free, I do like a French vanilla in the morning every now and then.
That's not a bad call at all.
Yeah.
All right, this is where I get everybody in trouble. Apparently, the teammate
Lord.
You trust the most to drive on a road trip.
Oh, to drive?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, underneath myself, because I do believe I'm the best driver in the team, and that I will get us through any situation.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with I'm going to go with Slim, only because I've been passenger princess to her plenty of times, and I was able to fall asleep and do whatever I want. I don't have to worry or stress.
Okay. Is there a teammate that you trust least to drive on a road trip? This is where I actually caused the problem.
See that girl Queen right there, number 4? Yeah.
I've gotten a couple of
Will
Queens.
not go in that car with her.
It wasn't as unanimous as when we did this with the Wizards, and literally everybody said Denny.
Yeah.
But I have gotten a couple of Queens. Best and worst on the aux in the locker room.
Best and worst. Well, I'm sorry to throw her under the bus again, but Queen has to be the worst. She brings a different vibe. If you want to come and get turned and get lit, cool, she'll get me lit. But for the most part, I like a relaxing, soothing playlist, so I'm going to go with Slim. Slim has the old school R&B, the good vet vibe that, being
Love
a vet, I can relate to.
Get out of here. All right, last two quickly. You get to spot up anywhere outside the paint. You make the shot, you get $1,000. Where are you spotting up?
I'm spotting up on the left block.
Left block, just outside the paint.
Just
can I get my toes?
Yep, I'm going to probably hit a bank shot.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. And then NBA Finals. Any predictions there? I know we're early in the playoffs, so.
Yeah. No, I have no predictions. I have none.
Honestly, that's probably the correct answer. Shakira Austin with us. Hopefully we'll chat throughout the season.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll be back in just a few minutes with more from Mystics Media Day. Continuing on Mystics Media Day with Brittany Sykes. The Cuse is in the house. We absolutely love to see it. And actually, I do want to start off with some Syracuse-centric stuff. You were a CRS major?
I was a CRS major.
Communication and Rhetorical
Studies, yeah.
That was my minor.
VPA.
What was your favorite CRS class that you remember?
Oh, Dr. Grimes. Dr. Grimes, it was a, meditation?
They had a meditation
mindful. They had mindful meditation, yeah.
I don't think they had that when I was there.
No, they had it.
I very much wish they had.
And guess who I took the class with?
Who was that?
Devendorf.
Oh. Devo could have definitely used some meditation at times.
Now, see, it's never better late than never.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but me and Eric Devendorf, we were in, we took it during the summer session.
Okay.
But it was
a summer session meditation class sounds pretty great.
It sounds as great as it sounds. It was. Literally. It was maybe me and maybe two of the men's basketball, including Devo, and then the rest were football players. So sounds pretty accurate at Q Summers.
Yeah. I had a public speaking class, and I think I was the only person in the class who actually somewhat enjoyed public speaking.
I actually really loved that class too.
Yeah.
And I had it at I think I had 8:20. But I would sometimes use the excuse oh, we got to leave for a game so I can go first.
And you're not sitting through everyone else.
Yeah, and then the first person usually gets a little bit better grade because you went first. So I learned that little tip. Anybody listening right now, I'm just letting you know, if you're taking public speaking,
listening that
go
that
first.
Go
first.
Minoring or just taking a random class over there. I do remember that class. Now I feel terrible because I don't remember the professor's name. It's because I'm old.
I don't remember mine, so you're right.
It's a long time ago at this point. But she was a huge sports fan.
Yeah.
And I had interned at ESPN that summer, and like she was a huge Colin Cowherd fan who was there at the time, and so she would just let me like kind of like watch games or whatever in class. Like there was a night that like the men's team was playing or whatever, and she'd be like, "Hey Craig, what's the score?" Like in the middle of class.
In the middle of class. Oh no, she's goated.
Yeah,
she's goated.
What more do you want? I don't know that the academic side of Syracuse loves the first part of this interview, but that's frankly okay.
I hope the teacher was Dr. Grimes because she's been there for a while.
Has she? Okay. Yeah. No,
but I love her.
I think it was an adjunct. Yeah.
Well, shout out to Dr. Grimes.
Shout out to Dr. Grimes. Shout out to the academic side of Syracuse University, which we took very, very seriously.
Yes, we did.
On the court, obviously great career at Syracuse, but interrupted by the injuries.
Yep.
And I saw a quote from you actually from an old Syracuse.com story where you said that tearing your ACL saved you.
Most definitely.
What do you mean by that?
It just saved my career. I feel like the path that I was going on, I would have had a short-lived career. It would have been one of those, man, she was so good, but she just couldn't get it together. Or, man, she was so good, and she just didn't get it. I think having those 2 ACLs back-to-back, the way it happened, it allowed me to just sit down and realize that life was not just about basketball, right? And then for me, the biggest saving component was being able to understand that basketball is so much more than just the physical.
Yeah.
I was able to find a therapist and talk to him about what the hell I was going through on and off the court. And people don't realize how much that part of your life impedes on your professional career or your collegiate career, whatever career, your athletic career.
Yeah. I can say it goes well beyond athletics.
It goes well beyond athletics, just life period. You just want to have that mental strength and that emotional strength to be able to get through whatever feat we go through. And for me, it was my ACL tears to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah. You're obviously known as one of the best defenders in the W.
Yeah.
It's always been a calling card for you. And we hear about defense all the time that like it's about effort. And it's kind of this glorified thing. And I'm not saying that people who are great defenders don't try hard.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if you agree with I'm going to put a thesis out for
all right,
you, basically.
Let's hear it.
I don't know if that's a CRS thing or not. But if more players took more pride defensively, there would be more great defenders. True or false?
True.
You think so?
I think so. Because here's my thing. There's a very small group of great defenders, right? Because great, we're talking about you are excelling in all aspects. But then, it comes to a point where it's like, all right, are you just going to be prideful in how you move your feet on the court? Like, are you going to be a defensive liability? Like, you can't be an offensive great and then you just lack defense, right?
Right.
Because it takes away from the game. So for me, it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, if you just take a little bit more pride and a little more effort, everybody can't be an athletic juggernaut.
Right.
But you can be really damn great at help defense. You can be really great at helping off the ball. You can be really good at directing the flow of the pick and roll to the corner. Like, you could do that. All that stuff is intangible that people could do.
Yeah.
The athletic stuff and all that, hey, you're either born with it or you're not.
Right. So that was kind of my it's counter. Like, I definitely think, obviously, if you try harder at something, you're probably going to
get better,
at it. But I think, one, lateral quickness is a huge thing. And there are players that are super jittery, on the ball, great moving forward, crap side to side.
Yeah.
It's just they're not very good at it. But I also do think that something that's underrated about great defenders is the mental side of it.
Yeah.
Just like you said, the ability to understand space. And some of that, I think, gets chalked up sometimes to, effort and you take pride in it versus, no, she's really gifted at that.
Yeah, no, it's an IQ thing.
Yeah.
It's not just athletic ability and just being able to get out there and steal a ball. You got to be able to think the game and know when that ball is coming, right? Or I got to be able to think how the point guard on the other team is probably thinking. You got to learn some deception too. To be a good thief, you got to be pretty deceiving. And for me, It's watching a lot of film, watching tendencies of certain players. Can't give out too many of my tricks.
Yeah.
But
it's also like a global understanding of the game, right?
Yeah.
Like all of that is like, it's one thing to study your opponent and be like, oh, she likes to go left. And like, obviously now we live in this like data analytics universe where it's like, you could probably tell me certain players in the league, they go left 62% of the time.
Oh yeah, for
like,
sure.
And
for sure.
you know, when they go left, 78% of the time it's a 2-dribble
Yeah,
pull-up. Like
no, seriously.
we have that data now.
Yeah.
But it's also like, what are they trying to accomplish as a whole offensively? And then that also is obviously could contribute to your ability as a team defender as well.
Yeah, I mean, like literally just thinking now, like one of the things that I'm starting to pick up on and trying to add to my defensive prowess is using the defensive 3 seconds, like to my advantage. I think I haven't really used it to my full advantage because offensively, yes, by all means.
Yeah,
like
I don't think that's something a lot of average fans understand. To be honest, like I've been covering basketball for a long time, and that's something that I didn't really fully appreciate until I think I heard Luka talking about it, or so maybe it was JJ Redick
because
talking
overseas
about
you don't have a defensive 3, so you really have to learn how to score with towers
right. So it's
inside.
like I'm timing my drive when the big
gotta
leaves
get
the
out.
lane.
Yep, like
So,
I'm looking at body language and
yeah.
everything. So it's like as the defender,
how
how
use
do
that?
I deceive you to think, oh, I'm leaving? I'm really not leaving. Like I'm tagging, I'm looking. There's rules, to stay in the paint that we can get into, right? But
Yeah.
the overall is like you only got 3 seconds to make that decision. And like Luke was said, like, yeah, I'm waiting for that defender to literally leave and cleanse so I can drive to the basket. So it's like, how as a defender can I like disrupt your shot? Even if I know you're using that against me, how can I counteract that?
Right. Yeah. Oh, I could talk. I love this stuff. It's so good. It's so good. Offensively last year, big leap for you. Career high 35% from 3. You also played in 40 games for the first time. Love to see that. Did you refine your routine at all last offseason, or was it good luck? Was it an accumulation of work over the years? Like, what do you attribute last season's success to?
Oh, man, couple things, right? Off the top of my head, just being in an environment that allowed me to flourish the way I did, right? Have the confidence, have the support from, my teammates, the staff, down to back from free agency. And then shout out to Coach Ashley McGee. She really, really locked in with me about footwork, balance, and I already could shoot the 3. Like coming out of college, I was shooting 3 really well. I think like 40-something%. And I just kind of lost that confidence. And Coach Ashley helped me find that confidence again. And even Coach T and Coach Eric telling me during free agency, we know you can shoot the ball really well. You just have to get reps up. You gotta relearn how to shoot that ball with confidence. And I did. I took that challenge, and I came in last year, and me and Coach Ashley got in, did some balance things, just working on really staying centered, getting the ball up where I'm supposed to get it, and just releasing it at its highest point. And it's shown now. Like, I'm shooting them off the dribble now. It's just been a collective effort from everybody to really, really help me propel my shot to where it is now.
Love it. I love it. How is camp different for you this year compared to last year?
Man, camp this year than last year. For one, I had hella rest. I had a lot of rest going into this season. And then from last year to this year, it's very, very evident that I am a veteran. Very evident. Like, it is blaring that I am a veteran, that I am looked upon as one of the leaders, not only in the basketball aspect, but the what is it? The
locker room leadership.
No, yeah, but just like talking.
Oh,
yeah. I'm not really a talker. Like I am, but not
like
in the sense of
like
a vocal. There we go, like a vocal leader, and like really, really stepping in when I need to. So, it's been interesting.
Do you like it?
No, it's fun. No, it's fun. I welcome the challenge. I'm the type of person who's like, I know that the only way I'm going to be able to grow is if I'm uncomfortable. And it's uncomfortable as hell, talking all the time. But it also helps me to stay on my stuff and just make sure that what I'm saying and I'm also doing. I don't want to preach and you know what I mean. So it keeps a magnifying glass on myself. Like I make sure I stay self-aware of what it is I'm saying and how I'm moving, because I know that the team is looking to me for some answers sometimes.
It's an accountability that's totally different. Like, and it's no one has to hold you. You're just like,
Nope.
Oh, it's me.
Oh, it's
Right.
me. Yeah. I got to
wanna-
tell you did something wrong. God. I was like, I love telling you do things right.
Yeah. Right. Definitely. All right. Wrapping up with a couple of quick hitters here.
All right.
Your favorite vacation that you've ever been on?
My only vacation I ever been on was recently to Cancun.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
When you go on your next vacation, if you could just all expenses paid, be sent somewhere, where would you want to go?
Mallorca, Spain.
Wow, that's a great call.
Yes, sir.
Your go-to coffee order?
Flat white.
Flat white?
Flat
okay. Teammate you trust the most to drive on a road trip?
Ariel Atkins.
Okay. Teammate you trust the least to drive on a road trip?
Woo! Man. I'm going to just play with her, Maisha.
Who's the best and worst on the aux in the locker room?
Oh, yeah. Best?
I'm going to say locker room / weight room. 'Cause
Yeah.
We have had some different vibes.
Well, I know who not to go in the weight room with
Okay.
because I'm not listening to any of their music.
Okay.
Queen.
Okay. Queen's caught a lot of strays today.
Yeah, Queen.
Mostly on the driving, but now she's also caught some
I've never been in a car with her, and I know not to.
Okay. All right.
Queen, Maisha's up there because all she listens to is Rod Wave. Not having it. On the aux, me, Tori, Shakira.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say those three.
It's
And
funny how people have bundled themselves together on the best and the worst.
Yeah.
Because the similarities definitely come out.
yeah, no, you're starting to see a little theme, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. And then last but not least, any NBA Finals predictions?
Celtics.
Celtics. Bam. Done. Syracuse's own Brittany Sykes. Aaliyah Edwards is with us next. Wrapping up here from Mystics Media Day with Aaliyah Edwards, who I'm talking to for the second time in like a week and a half.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. More questions for Aaliyah. Starting off with, you now actually had a practice under your belt. I literally talked to you like the day after you got drafted,
Right.
I think. So how's life as a pro 10 days in?
10 days in has been pretty good, treating me well. DC's been treating me amazingly, and the squad has been bringing me in with open arms. So
Love it. One of the things you did in DC was go to the Spirit game the other day.
Yes, I did.
How was that?
It was amazing. The atmosphere was electric. Love that for women's sports, especially. And then I also got to throw the first pitch.
Yeah,
Did you see that?
I did see.
Okay, can you rate it out of 10?
It's you're not gonna really do this to me, are you?
Yes, I am.
I give it like a 7 out of 10.
Okay, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
It almost got there. You threw from the mound though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you went because that's what a lot of people do is they stand in front of the mound.
Right.
And
No,
you
I
couldn't-
was on
You're
there.
like, no, I'm going to the mound.
Yeah, I wasn't touching no green.
Yeah.
It was straight brown.
Yeah.
Yep.
It almost got there. Pretty impressive.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
it wasn't like 50 Cent throwing it sideways.
Thank you. It was dead on. Probably a bit harder next time, but
Yeah.
first time I think it was a decent job. So I
Have you-
appreciate that.
Like, when was the last time you threw a baseball?
Yeah, I don't play baseball. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
that's
I
the
can't.
one.
I did play baseball growing up, and I can't tell you the last time I threw a baseball. It's
Oh,
not
okay.
something you do on like a regular basis.
Okay, right.
So there's that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
First few practices, first few games of pickup. Like
Mhm.
obviously you were at UConn, you're used to
Mhm.
pretty high intensity,
Yeah.
but like now you're here.
Mhm.
What was that like?
It's been amazing. I think right after Final Four until I first came to DC, didn't really touch a basketball. I weren't really in the gym, which is new for me. But
Yeah.
once I got here and got things under my belt, I felt really good. Pretty smooth transition for me so far. Day one, it was tough. I had an ice bath right after. Make sure these legs are ready for today. But no, definitely, I think just super excited for the process and just to learn under my vets and to kind of fully immerse into this Mystics culture.
Have you had any welcome to the WNBA moments yet?
No, not yet, but I'm definitely,
I
know it's coming. Yeah. Just got to
enough.
give myself a little grace.
I remember talking to Caroline Doty back in the day, UConn's own, who's now gotten 2 shout-outs between you and Steph, shockingly here today. But I remember talking to her about, like, what film sessions and everything, like, were at UConn. And she's like, you don't understand. Like, we don't watch college film. Like, we watch NBA film. Like, we're watching, at the time, it was, like, Phil Jackson run the triangle with the Lakers and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, 1, is that still kind of how Gino operated? And 2, as you get in and start watching film and, like, do this for real at the WNBA level, like, how does it compare in terms of the schematics, if you will, of the game?
Yeah, I don't think he does not do that anymore since I've been there. So that's very interesting, but I wouldn't take it past him at all for doing that. We have watched film of, like, the alum in the W or something like that for sure. But NBA, no, it's a different breed. He's definitely a different breed. But no, I think Coach really prepared me personally, just with holding myself to a standard, just keeping a professional approach to everything I do, not only on the court, but like my my recovery, my nutrition, take care of my body in the weight room, all those type of stuff. It plays a part in coming here. I could see myself just aligning to those type of things. But no, I think just playing alongside or underneath Coach, it was just an amazing experience for me, and he's always in my back corner and always supporting me from a distance. So it's great to have good people.
Now I want to get Steph back over here and ask her if
that's what I'm saying. Where's she at?
When did that die, or did Doty just lie to me and just
I don't know. That's
pump up the UConn program?
But no, it's funny when you're in training camp. Like I'm saying terminology from like UConn. She's like, Aaliyah, like no, like we say this here now.
That's
I'm
really
like,
funny.
thanks, Steph. You know what I'm going through.
Yeah. Speaking of UConn legends, I want your favorite Andrea Hootie story.
Oh my gosh,
Hootie is the strength and conditioning coach at UConn. I actually first encountered her when I was working in Lawrence, Kansas, way back when she was with the KU men.
Yeah.
She went to Texas, did both, and then now is at UConn.
Yep.
So what's your favorite Andrea Hootie story?
Wow, I have a lot.
That you can tell into a microphone on camera.
Right. I just think Hootie's a dog, and that mentality that we brought on the court really carried over into the weight room, and she took a lot of pride into that. So love Hootie. One of our favorite moments together, probably, I don't know, she's helped me become a squat queen, so definitely helping me on the squats, but also she loves cleans, so every preseason we were cleaning, and more cleaning.
Yeah, no, she is a big fan of the Olympic lifts. I remember learning that about her pretty early.
Yeah.
All right, we've been wrapping up all of our interviews today with some quick hitter questions. So here we go. Favorite vacation you've ever been on? Thailand?
Yes.
Wow. Was that a basketball trip, or did you just get to go?
I went for basketball, then I stayed an extra week with my family.
Oh, that's
so that was
incredible.
really nice.
That's incredible. What's the place that you still haven't been to that you want to for vacation?
This is a lot. Maybe Bora Bora. It's
Okay.
good
Casual.
vibe there. Yeah.
Maybe Bora Bora.
Yeah.
What's your coffee order?
I don't really drink coffee like that, but I love a good frap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this might be tough because you haven't been here very long.
Okay.
This is also the questions that gets everybody in trouble, and I feel like I'm going to take care of you as a rookie to tell you don't get in trouble. But teammate you trust to drive the most on a road
trip?
Yeah.
Whoa. So you're putting me on the spot. Maybe let me go with the vet.
That's definitely the right play.
Maybe Slim.
Slim?
Say Slim.
That's
yeah,
a good.
yeah.
That she's been other people that have said Slim, so that's definitely good. Teammate that you trust least to drive on a road trip.
Okay, so to be fair, Kira drove me one time, so I would just say from Slim and Kira, I would say Kira.
Okay, so that's like Kira might be the second best.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay,
so
but you don't have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Do you have a best and worst on the aux in the locker room so far?
Okay, best I'm gonna say
weight room.
Okay, best I'm gonna say Slim for
Okay.
sure. I asked for her playlist, so she'll tell you this. Yep,
Okay.
I did ask and request for the playlist. Worst, I'm not too sure. I have a worst yet.
Okay.
My music taste varies, so
Okay.
it's been cool so far. A lot of gospel, some sexy red up in there. Then we have some R&B. So it does vary here on this team.
Okay. You get one shot for $1,000 outside the paint.
Okay.
Where are you spotting up?
Free throw.
Free throw?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm surprised more people don't say that.
Okay, what did they say? Bank shot?
Well, let's see. We've had bank shot. We've had all the perimeter players want to spot up from 3.
Okay.
Like a lot of corner 3. Steph. She's top of the key.
Yeah.
Like that's her spot. But like a free throw just seems like the obvious.
Yeah, it's a free shot and like
you actually practice that shot.
Yeah, it's going in.
Yeah. Last but not least, you have an NBA Finals prediction.
Oh, I don't know.
We're a little early in the playoffs.
I don't know. Yeah, we are pretty early, and Lakers aren't looking too good either. So, I don't know. Let's just throw in. No, I'm not gonna say a team. I don't know.
You're withholding.
We're withholding it. Yeah, we'll say Lakers come make a comeback, please.
Okay, there you go. Wishing, hoping, even if not predicting.
Yeah.
Aaliyah Edwards, thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
All right, we'll wrap up here from Mystics Media Day in just a few minutes. right, that'll wrap up our coverage from Mystics Media Day. Incredible day of interviews. We'll chop them all up for you, put them on demand at Team 980 and at Craig Hoffman. So thanks again for watching our coverage, and we'll see you this afternoon on The Hoffman Show.